Welcome back. I'm Morgan with Life Marketing, and today I'm going to teach you what ROAS is, how to calculate your ROAS, and how to maximize it or improve upon it. Check this out. We generated a ROAS of 21.7 to 1 for this custom fabric company. If you're not sure what that number means, stick around and I'll explain it to you in just a minute. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss out on great marketing tips like these. Now let's get started. First things first, what is ROAS? What even is ROAS, you may be asking yourself? Well, ROAS, R-O-A-S, stands for Return on Advertising Spend, or Return on Ad Spend. The actual definition for ROAS is the ad revenue earned based on total advertising spend. Most people think a ROAS is going to be a big, scary formula that's impossible to calculate, but luckily, it's actually not hard at all. Now, you might be thinking, Morgan, that sounds a lot like ROI, a return on investment, but they're actually not the same. While they are very similar, a ROAS focuses specifically on the money put into an ad campaign. Think of it like this. ROI is more all-encompassing of everything you've spent to get your return, such as paying for labor, the cost of your building, the cost of shipping, production, etc. Whereas your ROAS specifically measures how much you spent on your advertising campaign to get your return. You never want your business to be wasting money on ad campaigns that aren't beneficial, which is why tracking ROAS is so important. With ROAS, you will be able to see how your ad spend can be used to create the most success for your business. Let's look at calculating that ROAS next. But first, I've got an announcement for you. Hello! We just helped a small business make over $1.5 million through Facebook advertising. After managing millions of dollars of ad spend for thousands of small businesses and creating thousands of social posts to help businesses connect with their customers, we know how to get results. And we want to help small businesses get results too. So we've decided to give away our knowledge, learning experiences, resources, tools, and feedback to help you achieve results for your digital marketing efforts. If you want to learn the blueprint for success, the best practices from some of the fastest growing companies in the world, get access to all the tools that you'll need, and get live expert guidance from yours truly, stop what you're doing and sign up for our coaching program today. Welcome back. Now let's look at how to calculate your ROAS. You can calculate the overall ROAS for all of your advertising expenses and the revenue that resulted from them, or you can calculate your ROAS for individual ad campaigns, ad sets, and ads. It's a good idea to check all of these things. This allows you to see how successful each working part of your ad campaign is. You'll be able to better detect any issues that may be occurring, and you'll be able to address them more quickly. The formula for calculating return on ad spend is this. Your ROAS equals revenue divided by advertising costs. So let's say you own a business whose return on ad spend is 3 to 1. That means that for every $1 that you spend on advertising expenses, your business earns $3 in revenue. If your business's ROAS is 5 to 1, that means that for every $1 that you spend on advertising expenses, your business earns $5 in revenue. Now, let's use it in a real scenario. Let's say that your company were to spend $4,000 on an advertising campaign. If the campaign yields a revenue of $20,000, the ROAS would be 5 to 1. This is because the revenue, $20,000, divided by the ad spend, $4,000, equals $5. So for every dollar that your company spent on the ad campaign, it generated $5 in revenue. Let's take a quiz. If your company spends $1,000 on an advertising campaign and it yields a revenue of $10,000, what would be the campaign's ROAS? Comment down below when you get it. I'll give you a few seconds to think about it. Nice. If you said 10 to 1, you are correct. The revenue, $10,000, divided by the ad spend, $1,000, equals $10. This means that for every dollar spent on the ad campaign, it yields $10 of revenue. Make sure that when calculating your ad spend, you look at how much you spent on the ad campaign as a whole, not just how much you spent for a conversion. In your total ad spend amount, you have to include the amount of money that your company pays per click, engagement, or impression for your ad campaign. This will vary depending on the platform you're on and your goals. Luckily, there are many free applications that can help you calculate your ROAS for you if you wish to use them for your business, like this one here. Plus, most advertising platforms like Facebook and Google Ads automatically calculate your ROAS for you, making it super easy to see how your campaign is performing. Next, what is a good ROAS? It doesn't help to calculate your ROAS if you don't know what's good or bad. And while it's hard to pin down specifics, which I'll address later, generally speaking, a 4 to 1 or higher ROAS is typically considered good, although it really does depend on your company. A good ROAS for one company could be considered a bad ROAS for another, and vice versa. Every business has a different idea of what is considered profitable. It mainly depends on the business's profit margins. Startup businesses, for example, often need to have high profit margins in order for them to stay successful. while some companies can stay profitable while having temporarily lower profit margins. What matters most is figuring out what a good ROAS is for your business specifically. You'll need to determine your profit margin and what other operating expenses you have. If you have a high profit margin, your business could still be profitable with a lower ROAS. But on the other hand, if your profit margin is low, you're going to need to maintain a high ROAS in order to be profitable. Once you figure out what you believe is an acceptable ROAS for your business, you can start calculating to see if your business's advertising expenses are generating enough revenue for you to sustain yourself. Now let's look at how to get the best ROAS. So the last thing you probably want to know is what things you can do to maximize your business's ROAS or improve it if it's not where you want it to be. Luckily, I have some expert tips to share with you from my experience. The first thing is to run A/B tests. If you notice that your ads aren't performing well after about 2 weeks, you need to look into what needs to change. And you'll definitely want to run A/B tests to see which targeting and creative works the best and helps you get the highest ROAS. Typically, your best ROAS comes from retargeting warm audiences, but that's not always the case. Number 2 is be specific and focused. Use refined keywords, like for your ads on Google, when you're selecting keywords for your ad campaigns. You want to try to make them specific for your product, your service, and your brand. For example, if you were creating an ad for a pair of white women's sneakers, you wouldn't want to just use the keyword sneakers. Instead, you should be using white women's sneakers. Using those long-tailed keywords that are super specific to your advertisement will ensure that the keywords you're bidding on are less competitive, giving your ads a chance to rank higher in search results. Also, including keywords that indicate that the potential customer is farther up in their buying process and more likely to actually buy the product or service, such as free shipping or buy shoes, could really improve your ROAS as well. We go much more in depth with keyword research and Google advertising in our What is PPC video on our channel, so I'll link that here. Number 3 is relevant targeting. On Google, make sure that your ad is actually relevant to the keywords that you're choosing. This will ensure that when a customer searches and your ad appears, they will actually be interested in what you're offering. This also applies to social media ads, like on Facebook and Instagram, for example. They use a metric called the relevance score to measure how well your ads are resonating with the audience. This helps you see how well your ads are performing in comparison to other advertisers competing for the same audience's attention. And it helps you know what you could be working on to improve them. They focus on 3 diagnostics: quality, engagement rate, and conversion rate. These 3 things are given a measurement of average, above average, or below average. Facebook even provided everyone with this chart that explains possible suggestions on how to improve your ads. So this is really helpful. I would spend some time here. Number 4 is run branded campaigns. On Google, when someone searches specifically for your brand, you wouldn't want your competitors' brands to rank higher and show up before your actual brand. But trust me, I see this happen all the time. The best way to ensure that this doesn't happen, though, is to run brand campaigns or branded campaigns. This means you will be bidding on your branded keywords, including your actual brand name, popular misspellings of your brand name, and specific product names as well. Branded campaigns typically return better ROAS than cold targeting. Although, again, that's just a general rule, and sometimes there are exceptions. Number 5, use automated rules to adjust your bids. There are many advertising platforms out there that will specifically adjust your bid amounts based on your rules. This could be based on the time of day, the location of the customer, and any other factor you can think of, really. This will ensure that you have higher bid amounts saved for those high-value targets, and that you aren't using too much money on low-value targets. Here's an example of this kind of tool in Google Ads. If your business uses Google Ads, you should take advantage of their tool called Target ROAS Bidding. This tool allows you to set your bids based on your target return on ad spend. Now, if you're wondering how that possibly could work, Google has this to say. Google Ads will set maximum cost per click, max CPC, bids to maximize your conversion value, while trying to achieve an average return on ad spend, or ROAS, equal to your target. I'm not going to spend too much time covering this tool, but just know that it could be really useful for your business. So you should definitely check it out. Number 6 is focus on conversion rate optimization, or CRO. Marketers love their acronyms. Improving your conversion rate optimization will increase the number of people that engage with your ads and actually end up purchasing your product or your service. There are a ton of things that you can do to improve your CRO, but for this video, I'm just going to mention 2. The first is always make sure that your landing page matches up to the content that you've presented in your advertisement. This is crucial. Customers will likely be confused and or irritated if the landing page that they are sent to doesn't match up with their expectations set by the initial advertisement. This could result in them exiting the page quickly or bouncing without taking the desired action. They can also report your ads, and you can get negative quality scores for your ads as well. Second, you want to work on ways to decrease the percentage of customers who abandon their carts at checkout. This can be done many different ways, like offering shipping discounts, sending abandoned cart emails, retargeting previous website visitors, and showing that your site is secure and their payments are safe. There are also many other ways that you can be improving your conversion rate optimization as well. But I have to add one disclaimer. ROAS specifically helps you monitor your ad campaign, but doesn't always account for outside factors that could ultimately be impacting your revenue. These could be things like high shipping costs, website issues, global issues, 2020, etc. So if you've exhausted every area of optimization within your ad campaign and you're still not getting good ROAS, you might want to look at some of those other factors that are outside of yourself. Those are the tips that I have for you today. If you learned something from this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss out on our tips and tricks for your small business marketing. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I'll see you next time.